Tina was going to do a pilot. She'd been writing a pilot for NBC. Tina Fey was writing a pilot for NBC, and she had been, I think she had worked on this project for a little while. And I said to her, and this was, I think, on a Wednesday when we were like at read-through for SNL. And I said, how's your pilot going? Or how's your project going? She goes, well, I think she was telling me that I think it's going to happen. And then she asked me if I would be interested. And I was like, of course I'd be interested. And it was funny, she sort of asked me in a way as if it would be too, like really, you would be interested? Meaning, maybe it was too small a project, or why would I, And I was like, of course I'd be interested. Are you kidding? It would be fantastic. So she said, well, I'll have someone call you. So Jerry, who was the supervising producer, he called me and said, can you go on some location scouts with me? And so the next thing you knew, I was doing the pilot. And we were just doing a small pilot, mostly on location at the time. And I was the only set that I truly built. I mean, the only studio set I had to build for the pilot was what would have become Alec Baldwin's Jack's office. Except in construction. So it was mostly just sheetrock and metal studs was basically the one set. The rest was, I think we shot at NBC, we shot at SNL, we shot on location, etc. The show was brilliant and really funny, and the cast was amazing, and it got picked up. So that summer, I spent the summer at Silver Cup Studios in New York, which is in Long Island City, and I had to build or replicate as much of NBC as the elevator. I had lots of conversations about what parts we should build, but there need to be the writers' offices, there need to be a studio, there need to be, more importantly, the hallway that led to the studio, because all of that was based on the hallway that leads to 8H at NBC, at Rockefeller Center. And the little dressing areas, all of that stuff. So I was obviously intimately, involved with every bit of architecture and location this was all supposed to take place in. It was literally supposed to be taking place at 30 Rock. And it's as if I'd sort of grown up in this my entire career, being in that building, having an office in that building, in fact. So I would just go measure the windows and draw the windows. I would measure the radiator. I mean, the radiators which are very unusual radiators, they don't look like that. The ones at 30 Rock are designed a really specific way. Everything was exactly as I saw it. The elevator, whatever it was. I wanted to do the elevators in the red carpeting that has the gold NBC Peacock embossed in it. So I had to go to Tishman Speyer, who runs the buildings, and get the carpeting from them, and order carpeting through them. So I spent the summer building that, which was just a fantastic job. I just so enjoyed it. And of course, again, it wasn't daunting. It was, I know this so well, it was just making it so that it was shootable for a sitcom. So ceilings had to be able to come up and down, walls had to be able to be pulled out in order to bring in camera and shoot certain angles. That was pretty much it, except some of the things that I really enjoyed, just memory-wise, of having done that show. There are a few things. Was one, the first day of shooting, was seeing Lorne walking down that hallway and just stopping and leaning against the wall, and he was on the cell phone, and it looked like he was outside 8H. And then the other was Marcy Klein, who was also one of the producers, coming down the hallway, making a left, and seeing what is the door to her sort of lounge, what used to be her lounge on the 8th floor, and opening the door, and it's just brick. No, this is true. And so what was sort of great about all that was that everyone felt like it was kind of like the Twilight Zone. It was like a little bit like imagine Imagine your real life becomes a studio set. And that's exactly what it was. And so I had to also do, obviously, an office for Liz Lemon, for Tina. And I had to bring in a photographer to shoot all the backdrops that were outside the windows for the show. And so I brought in a photographer, and we went upstairs to the top to shoot where Jack's office would be. All those drops were shot specifically for the show. But when I got to do Liz Lemon's office, I went to Tina's office that she had had all this time at NBC as the writer, head writer for SNL. I went to her office and I shot the view that was outside her window, so that when she walked in to be Liz, she had the exact same view she had as Tina.